So it's July 4th. It's a Tuesday today. Um, I feel like I should stop doing these dates in the beginning thing because they kind of ruining my train of thought. Like, whenever I make these journal entries, it's usually because I have some stuff in my mind at the time that I kind of want to let out. But saying the day kind of like breaks that momentum. Um, okay, anyways, let's do a bit of recap, I guess. Past month, I think it's been about a month since the last century. Uh, Honestly, not doing much. I've been playing a lot of Zelda, like almost every day, except for the days where I'm just kind of like very tired and I feel like playing something else. But most of the time, it's just Zelda. Have been playing a bit of Civilization 6. Um, and yeah, just going by the day. Uh, with regards to my practice stuff, like the arts and stuff, it's right now I'm kind of like hit at a block. I just, like I said before, eventually I even knew that like I'm just gonna kind of like stop doing it, or not stop doing it completely, but like the momentum is just gonna be cut off, and I'll just be like, I don't feel like doing this anymore. Not particularly feeling negative towards it, but just simply not feeling up to it. Feels like there's other things that I kind of want to do. And that's basically what happened. I was kind of like making this little creature thing that I named it Boar, Bor, and it's like a little swamp creature with like very long hair covering like most of its body except for its face and the hands, and it has like these almost deer-like horns, but they're like very short, almost like stumps. But anyways, yeah. In the middle of detailing of like what this creature kind of like looks like when it does like different things, I kind of just like stopped. It just kind of like, I don't know, maybe it's because I was doing it for too long, because usually what happens is like I pick a thing that I want to draw, and then I draw it for like 1 or 2 days, and then I quickly move on to the next. But for this one, I kind of like I kind of let it on the stove a bit too long, and my passion in general kind of just decreased. Um, Also, just, oh yeah, I've also been off Twitter for a really long time now. I don't remember when I stopped using social media, but yeah, I feel like I can't really tell if I'm feeling better off social media, but like I didn't have much on social media anyways. Like I wasn't exactly like sharing every bit of my life like all the time. Instead, which I was like following a lot of like artists and stuff. And I think the thing that annoyed me the most with Twitter is like, even though I mostly follow people on Twitter for like arts, or like funny tweets, but sometimes, people do post this or that I'm not exactly always in the mood for. And that, I think, just really kills the vibe a lot of times. And about Twitter, just you hear a lot more about different things that people do, or like just things that people want to get off their chest, and you don't really want to hear about them, and they're exactly always the things that should really be put on Twitter, if you know what I mean. So it's just a lot. I feel like eventually, like, there's just a lot. The more people I follow, the more that kind of stuff gets shown to me, and I'm kind of just like over with it. I feel like I've, like, after doing a bit of kind of like reviewing what I really use Twitter for, it's like I think I really don't need this right now. I don't think I really need. I don't think I need art to see art every day like that much. nor do I really care about the daily life of these people that I'm following. So it's like, yeah, no, Twitter is off. And instead, it's just manga, anime, and YouTube now. Oh, and then there's also games. Yeah. So honestly, I don't think it really changed that much, especially with YouTube. How I think just internet in general, like YouTube, does it count as social media? It's a type of media, but I don't know. I think that's kind of hard to really say, but I do still like know bits and pieces of what's happening on the internet just through essentially osmosis on Twitter and stuff. Never really like actively go search for something unless it's something like really particular or catch my interest. But most of the time I just don't really I just like hear about things or know about things just through like random recommended video titles. I don't even click into them, but if something big happens, they get recommended to me, and then I kind of learn, oh, something like this is kind of happening, but I wouldn't really know about the details and stuff like that, because like honestly, in all honesty, none of it really concerns me, and to bring them into my peripheral of attention is just going to, I think, bring me more stress and distraction more than anything else. But yeah, that's that about I guess social media and just like current event stuff, or how I learn about some of the current events. Oh yeah, about me learning to become more integrated into society. I don't know. I think things are again on a pause. So many things are on a pause these. But anyways, in terms of like me learning more of how like society goes, or how like normal human interactions go, I think again I've hit a wall. I'm not exactly, the more I interact with people, the more I feel like it's either that I've been interacting with the wrong type of people, but I just again don't, most of the time, like 80% of the time, I don't want to like deal with people that much. Like if we're gonna have a talk again, I'm still of the same kind of like I guess attitude towards towards like interacting with other people, is just that I would prefer to have conversations that can maybe be can maybe like go somewhere, and not just like random chit chat. We can certainly random chit chat, but like for example, there's this coworker who really likes this not really too old, but this once very popular show called Hitman Reborn. I used to watch it as well, but it's been quite a while and wasn't exactly the biggest fan of it. So yeah, this coworker is a really big fan, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna like reread it. I gotta read the manga. I'm not gonna watch the show because there's like hundreds of episodes apparent, I think. But I'm gonna read the manga. I'm gonna catch up and see how it goes. And then one day we have a short conversation about it. What I've realized is the coworker, when they talk about the show or the manga, they have specific things that I want to talk about it, and those are not the things I'm particularly interested in. Like I enjoy talking about the plots and whatever, and the coworker seems to be more interested in just like the general things in terms of like how much they like a character or whatever. It's that kind of thing. Our focus point on the manga is like completely different. For me, I enjoy like learning about these characters, and particularly to see how they kind of like progress in the story, and also how like the author also kind of like grows as the series went along, and how the author designs their characters, and like, these little things. But in terms of like, oh, which is like things like, oh, who is your favorite character, or stuff like that, is like not really my thing. It's like, character traits and whatever, if they're related to a character's growth, or like, in terms of, how should I put this? If it's related to a character's growth within a story in a more meta sense, then I would be very glad to talk about it or discuss about it. But if it's just about how, oh, this character has these kind of like characteristics and I really like them, and it's like, okay, that's kind of like end of conversation, and I don't really know how to continue something like that. And I don't know. But yeah, but I feel like most people, if you want to do like a casual conversation with them, they would be talking about things like that. It's like, oh, who is your favorite character? Oh, what is your favorite, I don't know, like action scene or something like that. But those aren't exactly my, like, the things that I really focus on. But anyways, I've been able to just, it's just, casual stuff. Not really, I don't think I really need to push myself in any way or shape or form, but at least I feel like I am now confident to say that, yes, this is just how I like to, like, the type of things I like to talk about. This is actually just how I am, because I have this experience of talking to this other person on a more or less regular basis about stuff, and I feel, and I have more or less adequately learned my area of expertise or areas of focus in terms of talking points. What kind of directions I prefer to lead my conversation towards and stuff like that. So that's, something I've been able to kind of like more or less kind of like know that I know about myself. There are a lot of things a lot of assumptions I have about myself, but it's good to kind of see these assumptions kind of like be confirmed, that they're not just like things I think myself as, but they are actually things that I just do, like at a natural and unconscious level. What else? Oh yeah, cooking. My cooking has been falling off as well. I feel like I've been eating, at least for the past month in June, towards the end of June, I've been eating out a lot more often. I don't think this is a good habit. And, this alongside the fact that I kind of like, my passion or my motivation for doing my art stuff has fallen off, also kind of means that I feel like it's a sign for my, I guess, depressive period, or at least a period of time of which I'm going to be very, very, I guess, dormant or passive, or just not exactly going to be feeling my best. I've often like described how I kind of go throughout my day, my month, my year, like a roller coaster, where there are a lot of ups and downs, and every time there's an up, there is always going to be a down. Every time there's a down, there's always going to be an up of some kind that's going to, they almost like immediately follow each other, and it's like very, very, I think, emotionally tiring. And in the past, I feel like, I was kind of like in that going up sort of trend. I was keeping up with a lot of stuff. I was doing my art stuff. I was talking to my coworkers, chatting up, and I was, going throughout my day. And I think doing normal people things, right? and I somewhat felt good about myself because, oh hey, I'm experiencing life as how it should be experienced. But after that, which is right now, I feel like it's almost as if I've exhausted my energy during that high period, even though it's not really anything high. It's just like average things, but in comparison to how I am usually, it's time to have the drawbacks. It's time for the fall offs. The high is wearing off, and it's all the aftermaths, all the drawbacks now. And I don't know how long this is gonna last. I don't know like when it's even going to officially start, because right now I feel like I'm still slightly hanging on by a string. I'm still slightly feeling kind of positive about myself, but I can also feel that kind of like gloomy self coming back and it could come back at any second. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Again, I don't like this low period of mine. It feels like I'm not really making any progress towards anything. But again, I don't know how many times I've repeated this to myself, in my journal entries, to people I know. When talk about stuff like this, I do not know which direction I want to take for myself. And I do not like just going by the day and see what happens. Even though I enjoy playing open world games like Zelda and Skyrim and games like that so much, I still would prefer to have something that I can achieve, for a clear goal of some kind that I can go like, yeah, I want to do that. And then also have kind of like a clear path, or at least somewhat clear path, some kind of hint towards like how I can go towards that goal. And right now I don't have any of those. Even if I do set an arbitrary goal for myself, well, this is real life. I do not know what kind of path I need to take to reach there. I'm reminded of like that one time where I went to this kind of like this workshop thing that helps teenagers and stuff to like find jobs or like advance in their careers, right? And one of the practices we did was something very basic, but it's basically have a piece of paper and list down your current position and then list down where your goal is, and then in between these two lines, you fill in each incremental step of how you could, of what you could do to achieve these things, right? And to achieve the final goal. Listing things out is very helpful. It's similar to why I'm doing journal entries like this, is to sort my mind out. But because it just makes things so much clearer once things are in text and not just all jumbled in your mind, because your mind can just jump at anywhere at any second. It's not helpful, and it's not the best way to focus. But if it's on text or anything like that, you have a physical thing that you can always go towards, and you can always trust it, and you can always know that you're not misremembering things. But anyways, for a thing to actually work in the first place is to actually have a goal in mind that you want to go towards. I don't have that right now. I used to be like, while in college, my goal was to get a master's. But once I kind of start to think about why do I want a master's? Am I really that even interested in the area of study that am I even really that interested in the degree, in the field of study that I got my degree in? And the answer is like, not really. So it's like, well, shit, I guess I'm not gonna do a master's, because I can't imagine myself really working that hard towards it. Or if I were to work hard, I used to kind of try. I have tried to kind of like maybe go towards a master's, but for the master's I want to pursue, I need to do lab stuff, and for some reason I do not know why. But I've applied to like, and I applied to multiple places and asked many teachers, but somehow I just can't get like myself involved in lab stuff. I can't become like an assistant for some reason, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because the time I was in school was like during COVID. Maybe it's this, maybe it's that. But at the same time, there are all these other people that are still able to get into lab. There's this one guy who I was like classmates with. This guy is a fucking hard worker. He is, I think he was doing like neuroscience, and he was in this lab with this with the professor that it's the like the researcher professor type, not exactly the best teachers, but they have discovered some crazy shit that and are like famous in the field. So anyways, this classmate is in this person's lab, and I think is also someone who is like very well like regarded, because he is he does this and that with the teacher, he does this and that with like the TA who is also in the lab, who is like doing their own masters. He is basically getting along with all these people. How this apparently, yeah, so this guy also has like good people skills. And then towards the end of the semester, when we're close to graduating, he tells me, hey, he's got this opportunity to go to like this fucking, I don't know, this fucking crazy ass, super famous, super high tech, like literally, I'm not even kidding here, not even exaggerating, some kind of like world leading technology like laboratory. And he was like doing it, and he did it like an interview there. And I'm pretty sure he got in, because he seems like the type that would like do one of those interviews and just get in because it's so damn good. And I compare myself to people like that, and it's like, am I someone that's like that? The answer is no. I'm not someone that's talented like that. And I can't, and I would like to see myself in that light. In fact, I still have this like illusion of grandeur in myself that sometimes I do see myself like that, but the fact is I am not. And during times of somewhat lucidity, and so with some kind of like lucidity and soberness, like right now, I don't like to see myself in that way. It's only like making myself more, I am only disappointing myself more and more by having this illusion of grandeur for myself. Whatever it is that I have to achieve, I have to freaking work hard for it. I can't, like, very frequently, like, what I've realized is that whenever I do something like I'm not exactly like an A plus student, but I can get B pluses and A minuses, right? I can get decent scores. And it's like, but there are times where it's like I get a B plus for something where it's like things don't exactly go the way I want them to. The excuse I feel like I often give myself is that, I just didn't try hard enough. And that's just words of a sore loser, and I do not like that at all. And I feel like I've also talked about how much I hate like hypocrisy. And I feel like whenever I lie to myself like that, I am like being a hypocrite with so many things, right? And I hate myself for that. There's so much hate and resent and lack of self-confidence I have for myself at the same time of having these illusions of grandeur. It is confusing as hell, because sometimes I just don't even know which is the real me. I don't know what the hell is going on with my head, and I don't know how to handle my own emotions and how they freaking work. And goddamn does it suck. you know. And then like last weekend, I went home to see my mom and my sisters and my dog, you know, because I had a long weekend. And then my sister was just like, I think you need therapy. I don't remember what the conversation was. I think the conversation was just like, I think we're just like doing nothing really. Just like talking about random shit. And then suddenly she was like, hey, I think you need some kind of therapist. And you know what? I think I do. I have this I there's so many things I dislike about myself. So many things I have done and am doing and will most certainly do that I know I will most certainly do and I know I have done that I don't want to do, yet I do them anyways because because it just feels like they come so naturally to me. And at times I think it just feels like I am not in control of my own body. I am not even in control of my own mind. I am not in control of so many things. I'm not in control of my own existence, essentially. But therapy is so fucking expensive. And you're not always going to be guaranteed to have the therapist that you want. You have to go through multiple people. You have to go through multiple sessions. And frankly, my fucking insurance does not cover this much. I'm having some fucking toothache right now, and I need to get that shit checked, and that probably fucking costs a shitload of money as well. I've said to myself multiple times in these journal entries as well, where it's like, I need to see a therapist. Well, then go fucking see one. It's been how long? It's been half a year. It's been just over half a year. It's already been over half a year. I still haven't made any progress in finding a therapist, in getting these things sorted out. I thought making these journal entries can help me sort things out better, but it's not. Because I don't know where I want to basically bring myself to. I do not know. I do not know where I want my life to go. I do not know where I want my career future to go. I do not know where, like, if I were to find therapy or some kind of like, I don't know, like better well-being program, I don't know what my better self is going to look like. I can't imagine what other me I can become. The only me's I can become are either fucking dead or completely fucking crazy. I you know, I you know, it's a simple, I guess, thought experiment. Maybe my mind is not exactly in the right place right now, but I feel like it's so much easier for me to imagine myself in a bad state than myself in a good one. And the only times I can imagine myself being in a good place is whenever I am having those like illusions of grandeur moments where I am kind of like having this weird fucking bipolar high, and I'm feeling so fucking good about myself. We'll do things one by one. I'll get my teeth checked first, because that one's, my jaws are really uncomfortable, and yeah, I don't like it. And in terms of therapy, It's future me problem. Let's hope I can get at least one session in this year. And yeah.